Hey, Stone Cousins. You already know what time it is. Animated horror stories. Animated horror stories. Ding, ding, ding. Ding, 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 ding. You can see where we at. We at Mr. Creep. Well, you can barely see where we at. Why? Because we got Twitch back. Ow, ow, ow. Y'all can chat with me in live time. So go over to Elephant Chatting, hit follow, subscribe, whatever they got over there, and join so we can chat together in real life time. But other than that, you see where we at if you can. We are at our cousin Mr. Creepy's house. We are an hour in. Why? Because we split the video up. Next time, who knows? It might be all the way through. But I say who knows because last time I said, well, no, because last time I did the full thing. So I split it up this time. So, hey, let's get up in here. It's a mixed bunch of creepy love slash, horror stories. I say love because there was a lot of Valentine's Day ones in the last one. So let's see let's see what's coming of this one. Please go grab a blunt, grab a bottle of water, grab a bag of chips, and grab a blanket, please. As always, go over and subscribe to Mr. Creepy, and then come back and watch the video here. Please just like the video. That is my request. And let's get up in here. After I done chatted your head off a little bit. And it's crazy because I'm trying to pull back a little bit because I could have said more. I'm trying to pull back just a little bit. But guess what? If I want to chat y'all head off, I'm gonna chat your head off. I'm your big cousin. I can do whatever I want. Love you. Bowling.
It's been 10 years since I left Columbus, Ohio. As soon as I came back there, I asked my buddies Jaden and Larry to go to Mr. Bill's bowling lanes like in the old days. Only then did I hear that this place was about to be demolished. So we all agreed to come here and play one last time. But it seemed to be a wrong decision.
Cause what's about to happen?
Mr. Bill's bowling lanes, established in the 1950s, was once the most famous bowling alley in the area. But unlike the busy look of the past, now this place is more like an old abandoned building. Its signboards are faded and heavily rusted so that they couldn't be repaired. When we came, this place was empty.
Mr. Bill, are you there?
After waiting for a while and seeing no one come out, we walked inside. As we passed the staff room, I saw Mr. Bill sitting in front of the TV. He was so focused on the show that he didn't respond to us. I was about to step into the room when suddenly a man came out and blocked the door. He looked chubby, probably in his 30s, and didn't seem friendly at all.
Who are you?
I'm his nephew. Now don't you dare wake him up. After that, he walked out and closed the door.
He's dead.
He introduced his name was Josh, and he came to look after the bowling alley even though it was going to be demolished. We headed to the reception table, changed our shoes, and started the game while Josh was at the desk. But I felt something wrong with Josh. I noticed that he was looking at us with judging eyes while holding the bowling ball and going back and forth. What did he really want? Because there were only 3 of us on the lanes, we were carefree to chit-chat with each other. The ball rolled down the wood lane toward the pins and our cheers. Now that I noticed Josh, he was gone. In the first few rounds, no one got the strike. Wait, I just need to go to the bathroom. It was Jaden's turn, but he'd already run away. Larry and I sighed because now we had to sit and wait for him.
What the hell was that? Is it closing time already?
No,
Who knows?
He done killed him.
We were bewildered in the dark for a while. I think the place was so old that the electrical system was short or something. Because of the power outage, our scoreboard was reset, so we had to start over the game. I went to take the ball and started to show off my skills. But after the ball left my hand, I realized that on the lane, a red streak slid along the ball. Larry also noticed that and immediately stood up. This was when I realized that on my hand, there was blood.
Strike?
None of us were happy. We decided to call Jaden and leave the lanes. Jaden didn't pick up the phone. We had to go to the bathroom to find him.
Jaden?
Dead.
I called, but there was no answer.
And that's so
Jaden
crazy.
obviously wasn't there. My gut told me something wasn't right, so I turned to Larry. We should get out of here. We both tried to bang on the door, but it was locked from the outside.
Is anyone out there? Help! Help us!
Grace, where's Josh?
He's the killer.
Larry's words caught my attention.
Grab a bowling ball.
I came to look and find out the reception table was now empty. My heart skipped a beat. I turned to Larry. We might be having the same thought.
We have to get out of here now.
We ran every corner, looking for every possible way and door, but all of them were locked. Holy shit, Grace, I almost forgot. Today is the demolition day.
What?
We were now locked inside a building about to collapse, and our friend was nowhere to be found.
You're
And Josh,
lying.
Mr. Bill's old nephew, had also disappeared. The bowling lanes
Oh,
were as
that's
silent
crazy.
as the grave,
He locked y'all
and
bastards
only the
up in
whirring
there?
noise rounded in the air.
So y'all can
Outside
die?
was the sound of excavators coming to destroy this place. What should we do now? We'd been walking around for a while to find out all the doors were locked.
What
Larry
happened to you?
suggested climbing through the ventilation duct to go outside, but the pipes quickly collapsed, causing him to
okay.
fall to the ground. I raised him up. In my other hand was a bowling ball, while Larry picked up a pin to defend himself.
Good.
Suddenly, we heard footsteps in the air. Someone was in the building with us. We panicked, rushed to hide, and didn't dare to breathe. The closer the footsteps got, the more I
Is it
trembled.
old boy?
The bowling ball slipped out of my hand and rolled away.
Oh no.
It slowly rolled to the man's feet and stopped there. That moment made both of us dumbfounded.
It's Josh.
What? The man picked up the ball, made a wicked smile, and slowly walked toward the reception table.
Hit him in the ankle.
Gotcha! There was no one there. Larry and I managed to hide in the staff room. That's right, Mr. Bill. He was still sleeping on the chair. I quickly ran to him, but he no
He's not
longer
sleeping,
breathed.
He's dead.
I was frightened, falling to the ground. Larry also understood the situation. He was terrified and backed up to the door to leave the place. We planned to run away while the man was busy searching for us out there. But Josh wasn't a fool. He soon found us. I made it to hide behind Mr. Bill's chair, but Larry wasn't that lucky. I sat
You
there,
ain't
huddled,
shit, girl.
when that man dragged Larry away.
Why you let Larry get his gun?
me! Help me!
Girl.
His desperate cry woke me up. I mustered my courage, picked up the bowling ball, and rushed to Josh. I put all my strength into throwing the ball into his face.
Good shit.
He was attacked out of the blue and fell to the ground. I was so scared that my hands kept shaking, dropping the ball. The key. I quickly searched in Josh's pocket and finally found the key. Josh was still conscious. He suddenly grabbed my hand. I struggled with fear. After getting away from him, I immediately got out of there with Larry. Eventually, we used the key to unlock the door. At that
Where
moment,
is Jonah?
the construction
Or
workers
whatever his
outside
name
were
is.
extremely
The black man.
shocked to
Where's
see
the
us
black
step
man?
out. I was so terrified and exhausted that I passed out. Then, Mr. Bill's bowling alley was blocked off, and Josh was arrested. Inside the place, the bodies of Jaden and Mr. Bill were found.
Jaden.
Turns out, Josh somehow heard that this place was being demolished soon, so he came to rob it. He killed Mr. Bill, and just as he was about to leave, Larry, Jaden, and I came here to play, so he had to pretend to be Mr. Bill's nephew.
Okay, so he's not
This
even
was the
into
moment when he decided to kill all three of us, and he obviously had finished part of his plan.
Not really. He only killed the black man, and I don't like that.
This story is not about me, but about my ex-roommate, Riley Williams. We were both college students and rented the same room. Riley was willing to pay the deposit and rent to immediately move in, so I quickly accepted her. But at that time, little did I know she would bring me trouble one day. When Riley brought about 4 to 5 suitcases to the front door, we really met in real life. That was a beautiful 19-year-old girl who smiled all the time, wearing heavy makeup and a long black coat with high heels. To be honest, she looked nothing like a college student. Riley also had a part-time job, which I wasn't sure what it was. All I knew was that she always went out at 10 p.m. and came back at 4 the next morning. She always dressed up in a long black coat and heavy makeup. It was about 2 a.m. that day. I was sleeping when a series of sudden noises from the window awoke me.
Girl, if you forgot your key.
God, it was Riley, still in that coat and the same makeup, in a panic while making a sign for me to open the window. As soon as she climbed in, she immediately closed the curtain. I could hear some kind of vehicle passing by down the road. After the sound was gone, Riley finally breathed a sigh of relief, but didn't let me turn on the light. So I had to use my phone's flashlight, and then I found dried blood on her face and hands. However, she didn't seem to get hurt at all. Riley was shaking and pacing around.
Riley, what the
she
fuck
muttered
did you
something.
bring over to my house, girl?
He's gonna kill me.
I grabbed her a glass of warm water to calm her down, but she refused it and just paced around the window, sometimes peering out as if she were watching someone.
Should I call the police?
Yes.
No, don't do that.
Riley screamed and grabbed my hand. Her eyes were all on me. Her messed up makeup and leaked mascara mixed with her tears made her face even more terrifying.
Bitch, go get in the shower.
Riley tightened her grip on me, causing me to almost cry out in pain.
Don't you dare call the police.
I nodded, then she let go of
Let me go.
She seemed to have gone
me what the
through
fuck
such
to
a
do in my own
devastating
house.
shock that she just went straight to bed without changing her clothes or even removing her makeup. It was inappropriate to ask her more questions, so I also went back to my bed.
What? Says who? She woke you up.
For
out
the
your
next
sleep.
few
It
days,
is perfectly
Riley
fine for
lay
you
in
to
bed,
ask her what the hell
shivering
happened.
by day, screaming in fear by night, making me extremely worried.
Why she shaking
I
like that? You
remembered
on
the
drugs?
bloodstains on her hand, frightened by the thought that she was so terrified because she probably had committed a crime.
You just gonna blame her.
That day, when returning to the boarding house after school,
Oh.
I saw a strange man in front of the building gate. I tended to ignore him, but he stopped me at the door. That man was tall and burly, with a white
don't know
bandage
her.
covering his forehead.
You don't know
I
her.
was extremely uncomfortable with the stench of tobacco on his breath.
You don't know her.
As he
She's about
used
to ask
his
you for
muscular
her
and
name.
tattooed arm,
You don't know her.
he looked at me with bloodshot eyes, so angry that my limbs trembled in fear. "Have you seen this woman?"
No.
He held out a photo. As soon as I saw it, I was startled but quickly stopped myself from screaming. The
Period.
woman who he was looking for was
He's your
Riley.
friend. He's a bad
That
bitch.
man stared at me, waiting for my answer.
You
No,
haven't seen her around.
I don't know
no.
her.
I shook my head wildly. He frowned at me, suspicious for a sec, but then let me go. What did Riley have to do with this creepy man that he came all the way here? After getting into my room, I immediately asked Riley,
Hey, there's some kind of strange man looking for you. Do you know him?
No.
Hearing that, Riley jumped up in panic. Fast as lightning, she packed her suitcase.
What's happening, Riley? Riley!
She didn't seem to hear
Girl,
me out,
shut
but
up!
frantically
Talking
stuffed
to
the
her.
luggage. I couldn't help but run to stop her.
Riley! Tell me what's going on.
She gotta go.
Riley was petrified. I could even feel her body shaking in terror. The
Oh!
sudden banging startled us both.
Open the door! I know you're in there!
Riley shivered,
I have to get out of here.
Yeah, bitch, get out the
signaling
window.
me to keep quiet, panicked, looking all around. Then the door burst open under a terrible impact.
Y'all ain't worried about this
The
man
muscular
busting
man
in
entered
y'all
the
house?
room, his eyes filled with anger. As soon as he saw Riley, he rushed over, first tossing me aside.
I'm gonna kill you later.
He said
Oh!
to me, and then turned around and grabbed Riley's collar and lifted her in the air.
You think you can get away with this?
Under the dreadful strength of the man, all Riley could do was shake and remain speechless.
Girl, grab a knife and stab him
Stole
in the
my
neck.
Rolex watch. You attacked me at the strip club. You're so done now. You are so done!
He
Oh!
shouted as the veins on his hands swelled, scaring me to death.
Girl!
I was so terrified that I had no strength to stand up.
Oh,
He
God.
squeezed
She's about
Riley's
to
neck,
beat the shit out
causing
of
her to
Riley.
struggle, but she still couldn't get away from him. I
He
was
got
completely
his-
numb to what was happening.
Maddie, help me.
It was not until Riley's voice rang out that I woke up,
Okay.
rushed to pick up her high heels from the floor,
Yeah!
dashed toward the man.
Yeah! Good shit! Where'd you hit him?
He fell to the ground. Riley had escaped from death, now looking at the man in shock.
Get out!
Her next move was out of my expectation.
What'd she do?
She picked up the high heel
Good
and hit the
shit!
man on his head repeatedly. When I
Okay!
stopped her, the man was already lying on the floor. After that, Riley burst into tears uncontrollably.
Okay! What y'all about to do now?
Eventually, Riley told me everything. She worked
But you did
part-time
all
as
that
a
for a
stripper
watch?
in this
That's
club.
crazy.
One day, the man promised to give her a Rolex watch to do a freaky request. Riley couldn't
so you didn't
stand
steal
it,
it.
so she attacked the man and ran away with his watch in her hand.
Oh, you did. steal
Riley
it.
thought she could escape, but in the end, he still found her. Riley was still crying and kept apologizing to me. I
As she
felt
should
that
be,
in
'cause you
this
brought this shit
case,
to her
it
house.
wasn't her fault at all. On the contrary, I felt sorry for her.
It is her fault. She brought that man to your house. And I bet you need to steal his Rolex. Yeah, he did ask for some weird, freaky deaky shit, but she could have just said no. Like, come on now.
I am a very gentle person, very sociable. Moreover, I'm extremely dedicated to work.
Okay.
But
same.
since that terrible woman appeared, my life has fallen into a bottomless black hole.
Stop playing.
And
No.
now I can't go to work. Everywhere refuses me. It's all
Why?
her fault. That damn Karen.
A girl, alright, come on now.
I was a waitress at a Wendy's in Texas.
Okay.
The kind cleaning lady at my store recently quit due to medical treatment, and so the manager immediately hired another person. It was a woman about 50 years old, with a slightly sluggish appearance. Her name is Ellie Michael. I
Okay.
call her Mrs. Michael. Her
Alright.
face was boldly annoyed, most evident in the vertical wrinkles between her eyebrows. It is often said, don't judge the book by its cover.
Oh wow,
So,
girl, you look so
I also
lively
ignored
back
the
then.
appearance part and didn't judge her much.
Your hair look all
However, from the first days of working
Dried
here,
out and
she showed an
everything.
attitude like the mother of the world. I always see her chewing the tip of her gum in her mouth, which looks extremely uncomfortable. I once got disgusted when I accidentally touched the gum she had stuck under the counter.
Oh hell
Many
no,
times
bitch,
I
you're too
informed
old for
the
that.
manager about her excessive behavior, but he
You're
ignored
way
it,
too old for that.
saying that I should sympathize with her because she is old. An even more outrageous time was when the manager was away. A female customer accidentally dropped her drink on the floor, which she had just cleaned. Instantly,
it's
she
your job
burst
to
into
clean.
anger and approached the poor girl and yelled at her as if she were her mother. Hey, hey,
not.
hey! I just cleaned that spot! Excuse me, can you wipe it for me? Do it yourself. Don't force others to do it. Clean it, quickly!
Quickly,
The
my
customers
ass.
around saw this and whispered about her attitude. I was receiving a customer at the cashier, but I couldn't ignore it, so I rushed over to stop her. Sorry, ma'am, she just came to work, so she doesn't know what to do. You wipe it off. Why are you leaving your clients to do it? You idiot, I'm done. It's this one. I saw it purposely drop food on the floor. It did it on purpose. If you don't move, I'll tell the manager to fire you. How dare you, you brat! She huffed and grabbed me by the collar like a delinquent. At that time, I realized that my manager had hired Karen to work. All the customers in the store were staring at us. No one came to intervene when she lifted my neck like that. Some even took out their phones to record. You let me go. If not, what are you going to do? If it's good, call the manager here. Looking at her messy beak, I pushed her away angrily. Unexpectedly, she fell to the floor and screamed as if in pain. So hurts! Help me! She hit me! Oh my God, she hit me! At that moment, the manager suddenly returned to the store and saw the incident. We were called into the management office, and it ended up being extremely unfair as he thought I was the wrong one to push her. I was harshly dismissed by him, and Karen proudly laughed at me. Worse, the video of me knocking her over was posted on TikTok. Everyone criticized me for bullying the elders and making me go everywhere and couldn't get a job. Even my parents considered me an evil, violent child. Now, I have to live on meager unemployment benefits, not even enough to get by.
Girl.
With no other choice, I went back to Wendy's in the hope that the manager would give me a chance to redo everything. Knowing the manager's release time, I was in front of Wendy's at 11 p.m. to meet him.
Okay.
I entered the store and was immediately met with an obnoxious grimace on Michael's face. Guess who's here? The store's closed. Get out. I don't want to see you. I need to see the manager. Manager is not here. Get out. Get out. Leave me alone. I don't want to talk to you. Where's the manager? Go away. Don't make me call the police. I tried to stay calm, but she seemed to have cornered me. Her pressures and sufferings on me were enough to drive me insane. Some strange voices echoed in my head, urging me to kill that obnoxious old woman.
Oh no!
It was she who made me lose my job.
It was
she who made me humiliated on social media.
Wait, don't kill her!
Die!
Oh, Lord!
I don't remember how many times I hit, but when the broom broke in half, I realized that she was no longer screaming, but lying motionless on the ground. That's when I woke up and realized my aggressive actions. My body heats up when I see her curled up on the ground, her body covered with long red marks. I slowly bent down to see if she was dead, and to my astonishment, I noticed that she was no longer breathing. My heart sank. I never killed anyone, nor did I intentionally kill her. I panicked and tried to run away, but when I turned around, I was surprised to see the manager standing right behind me with a face filled with terror. Manager, it's not what you think. I didn't mean to. He didn't say anything to me, and about to turn around and run away. I knew if I let him out this door, he would call the police, I would go to jail and even pay for that crazy Karen's life.
You would.
I quickly grabbed the broken broom handle and hit him on the head, causing him to faint.
Girl, not you just killing.
And now he's here, in my house with that Karen's body. 2 days have passed and the body has shown signs of swelling, as if it is about to decompose. As for me, I continued to go to Wendy's, using the manager's phone and computer to ask for his absence. But I don't think I can keep this up any longer. I want to say it all. I want to be freed, and this is my confession letter. Please, come and deliver me from these sins.
Girl, you about to go to jail, locked up, prison. You killed them and brought their body back to your house. Girl, you were doing time.
This morning, Andrea, the girl who went missing 10 days ago, was found dead in a sewer near Main Street. The body was dismembered. The police are actively investigating and report that they have found the suspect's DNA in the crime scene.
The breaking news sent shivers down Bella's spine. There had been missing cases near her house that worried her. She was afraid that she would become a victim like Andrea. As usual, Bella got off work and left 7-Eleven at 2 a.m. Her way home today seemed to be more chilly and cold. Those girls were in their 20s like Bella. All were young and had a whole future ahead of them. Bella stopped in front of a missing notice. There was a picture of Andrea, the girl on the news yesterday. Bella's heart became heavy as she looked at the crumpled paper. Suddenly, a whistling melody made her bones chill. She had been hearing this rhythm for 3 days, but every time she turned around, no one was there. Bella panicked and tried to get home as quickly as she could. The next day, she went to work on the familiar path. She quickly noticed a homeless man across the street looking at her. Even though she couldn't see his face clearly, Bella could feel his smile. She was so terrified that she couldn't run and could only turn her head and walk faster. That man didn't chase after her, but just stood there watching her in the dark. Then Bella discovered that every time she heard the whistle, the homeless man would be there, hanging around on her way home. Sometimes, he also appeared around her neighborhood, and when he saw her, he showed his attempt to approach her. He even waved at her. A thought popped up in Bella's mind. There was a high chance that the homeless man was the serial killer on the news. Bella shivered because of that, but even so, she couldn't quit her job anyways. That day, Bella came home from work. On her way home, she felt as if that homeless man was following her. Bella mumbled in panic.
Please, stop following me.
Her mind was now filled with the missing notices, Andrea's horrible death, and the fear that Bella's life would eventually end like that. She trembled, taking out her phone and trying to call her friends for help.
Why don't you
But
call your
no
friend?
one picked up the call.
How they gonna get to your damn
Bella
house?
felt helpless,
Call 12,
tears
girl.
running
Call somebody
down
for
her
help.
cheeks.
Call your
The
mama.
way home was getting shorter and shorter. Bella tried to walk faster, and so did the man. While Bella was inserting the key into the lock of the building with her shaking hands, a cold hand suddenly touched her shoulder. Bella screamed in horror when she saw a filthy and wrinkled face close to hers. Her
Like,
limbs
speak,
were
girl,
shaking
you got
so
something to
hard
say,
that she
say
couldn't
it.
stand
You
still
scaring
when the
folk
man
now.
opened his mouth, reaching out his chapped hand toward her, his body emitting a horrible stench. What did he want
leaning
from
over
her?
like you about to touch me. Like, don't touch me.
Stay away from me.
The man got closer, trying to reach her. Before he could touch her, Bella ran inside and locked the door. That man looked in, muttering something regretfully, then left the place. After locking the door, Bella returned to her apartment. The heart-pounding experience had drained all her energy. She was so exhausted that she only wanted to lie on the bed.
Leave.
Bella thought
paid
the
your light bill.
landlord cut off the electricity in her room because she forgot to pay her monthly bill. However, she didn't even bother to think about texting the landlord anymore. She just went inside and opened the curtains to get some light from the outside. Geez, she forgot to close the window again. Right at that moment, Bella
how
realized
about
that
the
her
window?
hand was touching something sticky. She
Ah!
used the flash
Follow the
on her
window.
phone
I
to
hate
see
sticky.
better, and so she was terrified to see that was blood. The blood stain came from the window and led into the house. Someone had broken into her house. Frightened and confused, she didn't know what to do. Just then, a friend of hers sent a text message. It said, "Police found the serial killer. He's injured and hiding somewhere in your neighborhood. Are you home yet? Let me call you."
About to die.
Her best friend, Maxine, seemed to be so worried that she immediately called after texting. Bella was terrified, her whole body shaking
Now you gotta
non-stop,
start
not
breathing.
because of the ringtone, but the familiar whistle behind her. Every
Girl, if you
cell
can
in
hop
her
in your
body
window, you can
froze,
hop out of
and
it.
her
Stop
heart
playing with me.
dropped in a sec. Her phone was now connecting the call with Maxine.
Oh!
A heart-rendering scream rang out. Bella's phone dropped to the ground.
Bella! Bella! Are you okay?
No,
Maxine
bitch,
was
she's not. You know
extremely
she's
panicked
dying.
and had no idea what
Tell
had
the men's
happened.
that she at her
Bella
house.
was grabbed by someone. She tried to cling to everything while being dragged away but could hold on to nothing. The more she struggled, the more irritated that person
the white man
became.
with the long hair.
Horrible sounds and the smell of blood raised up in the air. Bella understood that she was dealing with the killer and this could be the end of her life. The killer made her dizzy by banging her head on the ground, then dragged her to the middle of the house. I was looking for you. Bella was shaking like a leaf, crying desperately.
Please, let me go.
Begging hopelessly now seemed to be the last thing she should do in this situation. Remember to close the window in your next life.
That's so disrespectful.
After the horrifying scream, the whole house fell into complete silence. The next morning, Bella's boarding house was strewn with yellow and black police tape. The ones who called 911 were Maxine, Bella's best friend, and that homeless man, after hearing the horrific scream coming from her apartment.
Police finally arrested the suspect behind Main Street disappearances. It is reported that he had fled to an illegal facility for injury treatment before getting arrested.
You could have let her know.
Talking about his last victim, Bella, he confessed that he had been stalking her for long enough to know that she often forgot to close her window.
Crazy. Like, you was over there trying to help that girl. You could have let that girl know that you was trying to help her. You could have said something. You know what I mean? You had to sit there and just be watching her, trying to get all up close to her, almost touch her. Almost touching her is crazy. You know, you should have said something. You should have said something. You should have let her know. Hey, old buddy trying to get you. He mad close to your back. I be seeing him watch you sometimes. I be, you know, you be thinking it's me whistle, bitch. I can't even whistle. It's old dude. Like, I think that's why I had us watch that over, just so we could get re-annoyed together. Because that one really pissed me off. Because you really sat there, and it's like the same with the neighbor one that we watched. You know, that one might get tagged at the end. Because it's the same with the neighbor one that we watched. You got your tongue cut out by the neighbor, bitch. I understand that you're scared, but don't just let me hang out with the neighbor bitch that cut your tongue out. Don't do that. And then don't just try to grab me. Like, write a note or something. You know where me and my auntie live. You could have just said something. Like, this man just want to be following after her. Boy, say something. Be like, hey, there's a nigga following you. Like, I'm not following you. I'm just trying to let you know that someone's really following you, and that could be the killer. We all watch the same news. He should have just said something. But yeah, like the video. Let me know which one was your favorite, please. And until next time, you guys. Bye.